Good afternoon, July the 13th, 2016. Time to wrap it up for the day. Our trading, the big picture, worked really well. And the E-mini today, we had a 49 to 52 sell, 51 sell. The high was 52.50 in the overnight. Move this to a 5-minute chart so we can see it all. Pretty slow trading. One really big move right off the opening, right here, and this was the first book trade. Retest failure, you break that. No news to speak of. Goes to the value area low. Structure is important. Comes back up. We didn't like the mean green trade here. Thought it might go a little higher. So you were able to execute at the mean green. Could have made a little. Big bar right here, then a retest failure. This was the trade of the day that took us all the way down, and we had a buy of 40 to 43, and we had a sell at 49 to 51. So the big picture stuff worked out pretty well. Right now it looks like we're going to close the market in the 45 area, and we'll take a look at it tomorrow. But the structure is intact. Everything is still dealing with a P. Everything we're still pointed higher, believe it or not. Market is not rallying on fundamentals. It is rallying on the hopes for central bank intervention. The Fed beige book today continued to show modest job growth and modest economic growth, if you could believe it. And that's getting to be the issue with anything that comes out of our government these days. Can you believe it? Okay, looking at the F1 screen on the E-mini, higher lows, higher high. Find a place to buy it. Looking at the F2 screen, going inside the congestion area, there's more volume above the midpoint than there is beneath it. If we take away the B tail, you can see that it's leaning P. If we put it all together, we still have a pretty strong P. So again, don't see a lot that says there's much in the way of selling up here. Trade's going to be the same. Sell failure to take out 50.52. I think we got a chance to trade it up a little bit in the overnight session anyway. So selling 48s to 52, sell one. If we break it out to new highs, it'd jump it up to 659.64 for sell two. I think we're headed to 21.75. 39 to 41, buy one. Buy two, 34 to 36. Let them go back and retest that breakout high at 36.50. Okay, we came in this morning wanting to buy treasuries. Had to up our buy levels. You just thought that with the two poor auctions that we would miraculously find buyers today, and we did if you look at the results. Inside day, it's a trading range market, and we did find miraculous buyers. Really strong, great coverage. Really good foreign participation in the toughest piece of paper to move, the one with the most exposure and the most risk. So who were the foreigners that were buying it? My guess would probably be foreign banks or the Fed through foreign banks. Pretty square, looking at a D right here. F1 said trading range, so selling 28s to the buck. On the buy side, maybe a little lower. We like the we'll put out 17s to 21s, might buy it a little cheaper. 3 to 7 for the second sell. And then 9 to 13 for buy 2. We'll readjust that when we come in the morning. But that should get you going in London. Looking at the ZB, A P, the knob spread was stronger today. First band of resistance is going to be the buck to 04. Might be 28 to the buck, but the buck give or take, so 7 to 11, picking up, leaning against that spill right there, sell 1. Then 19 to 23, sell 2. On the buy side, going to have pretty good support, 20 to 24. So 13 to 17, buy 1. 1 to 5, buy 2. Usually after an auction, it's a pause day, trading range day. So our sell might actually be 31s to 03s. But we'll just be cognizant of that and be ready to act if we have to pull the trigger sooner. Gold had a good day today, and I mean everywhere you look. I just saw where some guards were sent to, troops were sent to protect the Southern Sudan American Embassy. Chaos around the world is picking up. Chaos in the United States is picking up with all these shootings. The divisiveness, the race baiting, the divide and conquer philosophies of various groups. I mean, people are getting killed in the United States, and the race relations are, to me, they're just as bad as they were in the 60s, only they're not burning down the cities yet. This all is by design, by the political powers that be to stay in power. Keep the people stirred up. Change the focus. Don't let them realize that nothing that the government has proposed, or very little of what the government has proposed, has worked over the last 50 years. But if we can get them mad at somebody else, it's kind of like a dictator that's in trouble in his country. Go declare war on your neighbor, and then I'll keep you in power for a little bit more. So things are pretty bad, and that would encourage gold buying. Lower high, lower low on gold's F1 screen. Sell it. Our F2 screen's pretty strong P. So probably a little higher tomorrow. Don't think we have any news that'll break us out, so maybe 49 to 51, sell 1. I'll put a question mark at 45. Then 54, 56, sell 2. On the buy side, 38 to 40. Then our 34 to 36 for buy 2. The latest experiment in socialism, and granted they didn't have the best and brightest running their show down there, which is the excuse that will be used by our budding socialists. Venezuela is a catastrophe, and it has to happen. Anywhere it's tried, you run out of money before you reach your goal. Thousand years of history of it not working. Anywhere, everywhere, at any time. And yet they still want to try it. How do you like that? An inside day in crude. Huge rally yesterday. Retraced all of it today. Trading range market is what that says. I think it's headed lower. Maybe a little higher in London. So 45, 45 and a quarter, sell 1. 50 to 75, sell 2. On the buy side, I think we're going a little bit lower, so 44 and a quarter, 44.50, buy 1. Then stops below 44, 43.75, 44. Now, having said that, we can't take out today's low and Globex. Normally, after a trend day, the market will pause. So can't bust the 44.50 area. We can get long and see if we can get to basically 45.50. The spell was from 45.80. That's going to be a nice resistance point too. Okay, the euro. You know, I'm really kind of surprised the euro isn't higher based on what's going on in Japan, but it's not. It did rally today. It did get to our sell zone once again in a fairly tight trading range. But resistance has been at 1150, and you know that's holding up pretty well. Second place we look for resistance would be 112 even. So 1150 to 112 even is resistance, and 109.50, 110 even is pretty good support, and you can see how we're just kind of trading back and forth in that. A little bit lower high, a little bit lower low, so this says we can find a spot to sell it. And this is today's distribution of P. Did not get stops above 50, so hey, we might get lucky in London tonight. Selling 50. Selling 75. On the buy side, 111 even. 1075 for buy 2. And that's it for this July the 13th, 2016. Tomorrow is the national holiday for France, Bastille Day, and their large institutions and organizations will not be playing. It will take some liquidity out of the market. Talking about living right, I saw where Halan's hairdresser is on contract for 10,000 euros a month to cut that guy's hair. Now that's how, think about that, 10,000 bucks a month. 10,000 euros to cut a politician's hair. That's pretty important hair if you think about it. But only in the world, it's justified in the light in the world of governments. We find out this stuff all the time. You know, we are, look at the guys that we all end up electing, keeping in office. You all have a great evening. I will see you bright and early in the AM. Going to be hotter than the dickens here with humidity to match. So full summer day for us and summer evening. See you in the morning.